Hello, my name is Andretta Derrickott. Today we will be discussing inequalities and discrimination. Has America ignored this problem? Is there a problem in today's society facing inequalities and discriminations? I will have two students from Piedmont College with two different backgrounds, and we'll talk to them and discuss inequalities and discrimination in their experiences. Lastly, we'll come together for a roundtable discussion on the criminal justice system facing inequalities and discrimination. We hope that you enjoy this video and gain some insight into inequalities and discrimination facing today's society.
Hi, my name is Dulce Vargas and I'm a student at Piedmont College, and I'm also a co-host of this show. And tonight I would like to introduce you Janice Johnson, she's doing her master's at Piedmont College. And will you tell us a little bit about yourself, Janice?
Well, thank you, Dulce. It's good seeing you again.
Thank you.
I'm Janice Johnson. I'm a mother of two incredible daughters, working on my master's, in fact, currently working on my capstone. Early childhood education major. I have 3 dogs, and I'm just glad to be at Piedmont.
Thank you. So you're a really busy mom, I bet.
Yes, very busy, very busy.
2 beautiful daughters, let me tell you from the start.
Thank you.
So, can you tell us a little bit about inequality? Have you ever faced it at work, at school? Can you elaborate a little bit?
You know, it's unfortunate that inequality is just something that burdens people from, I don't know, in my case, since I was a child. But to go back to a recent incident, when I worked in private industry, I worked at a factory, and one thing about a factory is most everybody tends to be on a certain level, and there are other opportunities that will arise, and you try to do whatever you can, the training, the education, whatever, to get to that next level. Well, I did that. I knew that there was an opportunity to work, say for instance, on the dock, in the office. So I did what was necessary to get there, but so did others. And when it came time to decide who was to get that position, I didn't get it, but I was encouraged, go in and put in, you have a good chance of getting it. So I did appreciate that. I did follow the protocol, but I didn't get that position. So I started thinking, was that because of an inequality or something? Well, guess what? When I did get a position in the shipping area, on the dock, the person who worked in the office asked me many, many times, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? I'm behind with the paperwork. And then I ended up going in on the weekends and doing that person's job.
Wow.
But still, I didn't get recognized in that position. The other person was recognized in that position. So that's
Do you mind us telling the race of the person who was recognized?
It was a Caucasian female, and she tried, and I can understand everybody wants to achieve. You always want to do better.
Yeah.
And she tried to do her best there, but there were some things that she struggled with. So I felt a burden to just pick up the slack, to keep things going, but somewhere in my heart I knew that things weren't fair.
So you knew deep inside that you guys had inequalities around work, right?
Oh yes, lots. And basically because I worked in an industry that was predominantly Caucasian and predominantly male. And as an African American female, you do run into a lot of inequality, a lot of examples of it. How do you deal with that?
And that's our question for today. How can we deal with it?
It is very difficult, and it was my job. Without my job, I can't support my family. I can't live a certain lifestyle. So I have that burden on me. But at the same time, you want things to be right. You want them to be fair, if not just for yourself, for the people that come behind you.
For generations.
Yes.
Not just for us, for other generations that are coming up.
For other generations, exactly.
And then we have another question to ask you.
Yes.
Have you ever felt privilege, or have you ever experienced privilege?
Wow. Well, you know, I mentor children, and
You told me
a
about
lot
that.
of the children are from Mexico. And let me go back a few years. I'd say about 3 to 4 years ago, I had a group of young men, say between the ages of 11 and 13, and we were on our way to the mall. And it was early evening, and as we were driving down the road, we passed by a policeman. He was sitting on the side of the road. And two of the little boys they were agitated, and they kept telling me, Miss Janice, don't look at him. Don't look at him. Just keep driving. So I was trying to be funny. I said, what do you mean don't look at the police officer? He's right there. I can see him. No, don't look at him. I said, why? And they were fearful. I could feel the fear in these children's hearts. And I said, why not look at him? What's wrong with that? You haven't done anything wrong. And they said, well, when we're in a car with our parents, they tell us don't look at them or they will pull you over. They'll put their lights on and they'll pull you over. I said, just for looking? And so that just touched me in such a way that I realized that these children have been just shackled into certain places in their community. So I said, okay, hey, it's a big world out there. Let's go to the mountains. For the first time in their lives, they went to the mountains. We actually had an opportunity to go to the ocean. So we went to the beach, went to Helen, Georgia, and they just had a great time. But I could see, as I watched them in these different areas, I could see that they were so fearful. I didn't have that fear when I walked through Helen. I didn't have that fear when I was in the mountains, but they did. It's like things that they were conjuring up in their minds about something that could happen. And that's how they go day to day. So I feel privileged that I can exist and not have to exist in that fear.
And I can relate to that. As a Mexican, I was also undocumented for 7 years, and I can only say that I also have experienced fear to the police, being stopped, being questioned about my legal status. And it has happened so many times that you get used to it, I guess. Yeah. You're like, you see a police officer, and the next thing that pops in your mind is, let me have my documents. If you have some, and if not, then run away. Run away as far as you can, so they can't question you.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's terrible. It's been a really hard road for, I think, for any minority that has faced this. And we would like to thank you for coming to our show and being part. And I know your hard work, and I know you're going to be a great teacher sooner or later.
Thank you. I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So tonight, as the second part of the show, we're going to talk about the DREAM Act. The DREAM Act is a bill that hasn't passed yet, and it's going to help millions of students who are undocumented to further up with their education and to get a job and be U.S. citizens after several processes of immigration. So tonight, I would like to, we have my mother and my sister. My mother, Maria Rojas Barrera, and my sister, Jenny Vargas, is going to be her translator. And I would like to ask my mother, what does she think about the DREAM Act as a parent?
Okay. Por lo que veo, que el DREAM Act les den la oportunidad a los estudiantes que terminaron en verdad su carrera, para darles la oportunidad del esfuerzo que hicieron para sacar su degree o su licenciatura.
She would like to see that they give help or aid to students who have furthered their education, have obtained a degree, and so they can be able to obtain a job in the field that they major in.
Can you elaborate about your degree that you right now hold, and it's a nursing degree, and you can't work anywhere else with that degree because of your having to go back to school and finish it up again, even though you don't have to, because you already know that stuff?
Bueno, por lo mismo de mi trabajo, yo tengo mi licenciatura en enfermera. No lo puedo ejercer por lo mismo de que el trabajo es de 7 a 7 o de 7 a 9 veces. No tengo tiempo para continuar sacando mis estudios.
She holds a RN, so she wishes to go back to school, but the only downfall is that her job does not allow her to go back to school because the timings do change and vary it as to the time when she gets in to the time that she leaves. So she likes to see have obtain help with some type of program that would help her, I guess, speed her process to obtain her license again to practice in the U.S.
So would you say that you feel privileged at this moment, not as other races?
¿Te sientes
Una
como,
privilege.
te sientes así como
Un privilegiado.
privilegiada?
¿En qué forma?
Sí, digo que sí.
¿Sí?
Yes, she does.
Okay. So guys, we can move on to you, Jenny. Will you tell me about what you think about the DREAM Act? What is your opinion on the DREAM Act?
I think that the DREAM Act would help millions, like Dulce said, students of who have obtained and have the efforts to obtain their degree and the majors that they wish to, further education in, to help them so they can help this country better themselves, so that we can become more united and a more powerful country than we already are.
Serían un país mucho más potente si se unieran todos esos estudiantes que son en verdad inteligentes y tienen su carrera terminada.
My mother says that it will also help this country become more united and powerful than it already is, because there's millions of students, not only Hispanics, but also outside minorities that have obtained doctorates in, major fields that this country needs, but just because they can't, exercise their majors because they don't have a social security number. So that would help this country develop even more.
And I would like to thank both of you for coming tonight and explain inequality and everything that has happening in this country right now. Thank you very much for coming.
Gracias por también tomarnos en cuenta nuestras opiniones.
Thank you for allowing us to speak our minds and to for having us tonight. So.
Thanks.
For the last part of this show, we decided to come together as the three of us to talk about inequalities in the criminal justice system. We had two great interviews, you guys. We had Janice, who came in and talked about inequalities, and Dulce, we also had your family come in and talk about inequalities and discrimination, and we thank them so much for doing that. To get into the criminal justice system, Dulce, what do you think about the gender discrimination over in criminal justice system?
Well, first of all, let's start with when it comes to applying for a job. People are more lenient to hire males than females. And the reason is because they feel that females are more domesticated and they belong in fields such as the nursing field, the educational field, or just being a mom and no having guns or anything related to it. And that's it. I feel when it comes to it.
Pam, I know you're getting towards the end of your major, which is criminal justice, just like Dulce and myself. So, what are your plans after graduation?
I plan on getting hired on with Sheriff's Department or Police Department and working my way up to be a detective. And as Dulce said, a thing that goes along with that is gender roles. And I may experience that with my supervisors or coworkers looking down on me as inferior and not being able to do the job, and in a male-dominated field. And another thing that goes along with that is racial profiling. And how have you seen that in today's society?
In today's society, it is more likely for African Americans to get actually get arrested by the police. We see that the prison system, the jails and stuff are overcrowded, and we mostly see African Americans as well as Hispanics and Latinos and stuff like that. So racial profiling, I do think, is something that is more common in America and stuff. So we see that happening more often than people think.
So Andrea, I know you are a fan of reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your point of view, or how do you think the media portrays African American and minorities on TV?
That's a great question, Dulce. For some, with reality TV over in the media and stuff, African Americans are portrayed as being loud and just over exaggerated and things like that. We don't see a positive aspect of African Americans. It's like, as you both can remember, it was a female in our class, Corrine, I think her name. She talked about black girls do rock and stuff, and trying to give a positive impact on women, because we are portrayed over in over in the media as being a lower class citizen and not really being privileged to different things that other races are. So, yeah. And another thing, you guys, as Janice was leaving, one of the other people that you interviewed, they'll say, she also gave us so much insight as to women in general, talking about, the different inventions and stuff that women have done and stuff, and just thinking that that we are not a lower class, we are actually empowered, and we can do so much stuff. And she gave us so much insights and everything, and she actually gave us words of encouragement. So what do you think about her? She was just a phenomenal woman.
She is, and I have met her since I came to Piedmont College, and one thing that me and her relate is that we have struggled, but we have learned to overcome those obstacles. And yeah, she's smart, intelligent, many things. I see many things in her way coming.
I think the main point that she tried to come across is that our country is founding and thought about as being as a melting pot, and everyone is equal. And inequality is wrong if we want to rely on our country's foundations.
Again, we all want to thank you for just looking at this video, this show and stuff. We hope that you have gained so much insight into discrimination, inequality, and how common these two words are, and we hope that you become aware of it. Again, thank you for watching, and y'all have a blessed and great day. Today we will be discussing inequalities and discrimination. We'll discuss today, we hope that you will gain insight as to inequality and discrimination in facing today's society.
And the first question that I would like to ask you guys is, what do you think about the DREAM Act? Because I forgot to introduce the DREAM Act.